The line tugs, just slightly. Then again, harder this time. Jamal squints against the early morning sun, standing barefoot on the weathered dock that juts out from my cabin into the lake like a stubborn finger. The same dock Dad built when we were kids. His rod bends gently. A base, maybe? I smile from the porch, coffee in hand, wrapped in a piece of our family's land. This cabin, nestled in the pine-thick hills near Lake Ashford, isn't just property. It's legacy. Granddad fished here before segregation was technically over. Dad fought for it through redline mortgages and HOA zoning laws that didn't want us here. Now it's mine, left to me, and Jamal and Dad's will deed clear, titles clean. That's why when the police cruiser rolls up the dirt road, tires crunching gravel like bones under boot, I already know something's off. Yo, sis. Jamal calls, half-turning. That for us? The cop steps out, hand on holster, sunglasses low, jaw tight. Got a call about trespassing, he says. Fishing without permission. There's a private lake. I set my cup down. Calm, polite, not scared, because I refuse to be. It is, and we own this dock. That's my brother. His eyes flick from me to Jamal, back to me. Something about his posture shifts, like he was braced for defiance, and my composure threw him off balance. I step closer. You got a complaint? HOA rep said you didn't file proper lake access usage for guests, and fishing's regulated. There it is. The HOA. I exhale slowly, biting back the instinct to snap. My family's owned this land since 1968. This dock is on our private lot, not HOA controlled. We don't pay dues. Never have. We're not in your jurisdiction. The officer stares at me a moment longer than necessary, then nods, muttering, "Misunderstanding, I guess," before walking back to his cruiser. No apology. Just gone. Jamal reels in. His fish flops once on the dock before he lets it slip back into the water. You think it was that Karen lady again? Red Mercedes, always walking her poodle and staring like we owe her something? I nod slowly. Janice Madison, HOA president. The name tastes like vinegar. She's been sniffing around ever since I moved in full-time last month. First, it was a complaint about my porch light being too bright. Then about Jamal's truck, lowering property value. And now this? Fishing. On our own lake. That call to the police wasn't about fishing. It was about control. A reminder that no matter how legal our ownership, our presence here makes some people uncomfortable. And discomfort, for folks like Janice, is a weapon. But she doesn't know what we know. She doesn't know what this lake hides, or what the original documents buried in my father's safe truly reveal. I glance back at Jamal, then to the edge of the dock, where moss creeps over a brass plate barely visible to the untrained eye. Let her keep poking. I whisper, she's about to lose everything. The next morning, there's a letter duct taped to my mailbox. Not placed gently inside, taped like a warning. Notice of HOA infraction. Subject: unapproved lake activities / violation. Hashtag 437B. Penalty: $1,500 fine due immediately. I stare at it, heart pounding. Not because I'm afraid, but because I know what this means. It's no longer passive-aggressive glares and gossip. Janice Madison is escalating. Jamal reads over my shoulder, jaw clenching. She's serious? This ain't even her damn jurisdiction. She's testing us. I mutter, seeing if we'll fold. The envelope has no HOA letterhead, just a photocopied form, clearly downloaded and filled out at home. But the language is precise, legal sounding, meant to intimidate. And the kicker? A handwritten note at the bottom. Fishing privileges require HOA authorization. Consider this a final warning. Jam. Final warning? Jamal scoffs. We don't even belong to the HOA. That's like trying to evict somebody from their own house. I nod, eyes narrowing. She wants a reaction. Let's not give her one. Not yet. But the next few days prove it wasn't an empty threat. First, the mail stopped showing up. Then the internet goes down. When I call the ISP, they say the account was suspended due to service policy concerns forwarded by community management. I never gave anyone that authority. By Thursday, a tow truck idles at the edge of the gravel road. It stays there for an hour, engine running, driver watching Jamal's old Dodge Ram, like a vulture circling roadkill. I dare them to touch my truck, Jamal mutters, pulling the blinds down with 2 fingers. I'll take the fine and frame it. My hand shakes as I make notes in Dad's old leather binder, the one he used to document every boundary dispute with the HOA, every time someone tried to act like our land wasn't ours. I never thought I'd need it, but now it's a weapon. That evening, I head into town and visit the county registrar. The man behind the desk, a quiet black gentleman named Mr. Ellison, smiles when I hand him the parcel number. 112. LC by the East Lake Bend, he says. Been a while since I saw that one. I nod. My father was Harold Jefferson. Ellison's eyes soften. Harold never missed a hearing. Made sure no one ever touched that land. He disappears into the back room and returns with a dusty file. Everything's in here. Original easement carve-out, lake rights, the federal exemption from the HOA encroachment boundary, signed in 1971, part of that land grant loophole during the civil rights wave. I swallow hard. So legally they can't touch you, he finishes. Not the lake, not the dock, not the shore. You're outside the HOA completely. Always have been. I take the folder like it's a torch. Janice Madison has been barking up the wrong tree, but she's about to find out this tree's rooted in law older than her entire rule book, and I'm done playing nice. Friday morning, I wake to the sound of hammering. Not from my property, from across the lake. Jamal steps out of the cabin, shirtless, eyes squinting. You hear that? I nod slowly, heart sinking. Across the water, on the public side of the lake, just 20 feet from our dock, Janice Madison stands with 2 men in neon vests. A barge floats nearby, stacked with plastic orange buoys, rebar, and fencing. They're building something. I walk down to the dock, phone in hand. One of the men starts hammering in a post directly into the waterline. Hey! I shout, what are you doing? Janice looks up slowly, her red visor glinting in the sun like some kind of suburban battle helm. This is a community safety barrier, she yells back, all sugar and fake concern, to keep non-registered members from accessing HOA-managed lake areas. I stare in disbelief. You're fencing off the water? She smiles. The HOA board voted unanimously. You can't block public lake access. This area is under HOA maintenance, and your brother's activities have raised concerns. She doesn't say what kind of activities. She doesn't have to. This is no longer a warning. It's war. That afternoon, Jamal tries to fish again, this time casting farther out to avoid the barrier. Within 10 minutes, a sheriff's boat idles up. 2 deputies. They check our IDs, run our plates, ask if we paid HOA dues for water privileges. We're not in the HOA. I say for the 10th time, look at the deed. It's filed under county, not subdivision. The younger cop, eyes sympathetic, nods. The older one just shrugs. Then maybe you need to talk to the HOA president. She's been pretty vocal. Vocal, entitled, white. Her complaint, it seems, always makes it to the top of the list. Later that evening, I file a formal cease and desist with the county clerk's office. I attach every page of the land deed, photos of the barrier, and copies of the false infractions. I CC Janice. I also send it to her HOA's legal counsel. Found thanks to a quick online search. They're based 3 states away. They'll see what she's doing soon enough. But the situation spirals faster than I expect. By Sunday, Janice has organized a neighborhood lake patrol, a group of retirees with binoculars and whistles, watching us from lawn chairs across the waterline. You see that? Jamal grumbles, sipping iced tea from the porch. Dude just took a photo of me tying my shoes. Ignore them, I mutter, but I can't ignore what happens next. Monday morning, I wake up to the smell of burning plastic. Out by the dock, our fishing chair, Dad's old leather cushion one, is smoldering. Someone dumped charcoal on it, then tried to set it on fire. Didn't burn much, but the message is loud. We're not welcome. That evening, Jamal's truck is towed from the shoulder outside the gate. HOA stickers slapped on the windshield. Unauthorized vehicle scrawled in red marker across the window. I storm into the HOA clubhouse the next morning. It's silent, sterile, walls covered in fake lake paintings and award plaques. Janice waits behind the counter. Fake smile already cocked. Can I help you? You cross a line. I snap, vandalizing my chair, towing my brother's truck. You're harassing us. She shrugs. We enforce community standards. If you don't like it, move. You're not even authorized on our land. Her eyes narrow slightly. This community has changed since you people started moving in. We're trying to maintain standards. You people, there it is. The mask slips. I take out a copy of the deed, the federal lake exemption, and the cease and desist letter. Slam them on the counter. You mess with the wrong family. I say quietly, I'll give you one more chance to back down. Janice smiles. Try me. Her voice is laced with venom, but I see the flicker in her eyes. Doubt. She doesn't know what I have. She doesn't know my next move is going to cost her everything she's built. She thinks she's in control. She has no idea she's about to be the centerpiece of a very public scandal. It's Thursday when I walk into the HOA monthly board meeting uninvited. The room falls silent. 15 residents sit in folding chairs facing a long table draped in a starched white cloth. Janice Madison presides at the center, like she's chairing congressional hearing, gavel in hand, pearls clinking against a glass of cucumber water. I walk straight to the front, holding a manila folder thick with documents. My boots echo on the hardwood floor. All eyes follow me, some curious, others annoyed. Janice doesn't blink. Excuse me, this meeting is for HOA members only. I'm aware, I reply calmly, and I have something to share that affects all of you. You're trespassing. I ignore her and lay my folder on the table. I'd like to show you what your HOA president has been doing in your name. The murmurs begin. I have documentation proving this community's HOA has repeatedly violated county boundaries by enforcing rules on land and property outside its jurisdiction. That includes illegal fencing installed in a public waterway, false 911 calls, and the unauthorized towing of a vehicle. I take out the map, county stamped, dated, and color-coded. Here's the subdivision boundary. Here's my family's land. You'll notice we're not inside your HOA. Never have been. Janice's lips tighten. This is misinformation. I slide out another sheet. Here's the 1971 federal easement law protecting properties like ours from retroactive HOA enforcement. Someone gasps. One of the board members leans forward, squinting at the map. Is this real? Janice bangs her gavel. None of this matters. We act to protect the community. The Jeffersons have been disruptive. Their fishing and presence have made multiple neighbors uncomfortable. Uncomfortable, I echo, because we dare to fish from our own dock. The room stiffens. I don't stop. Let's talk about what really happened last week. The police were called because my black brother held a fishing rod. That's not enforcement, that's profiling. Janice's voice rises. They refuse to comply with basic guidelines. I slam my final card on the table. A video, captured by Jamal's dashcam the night his truck was towed. The grainy footage shows a red SUV pulling up. Two men exit with bolt cutters. One applies a fake HOA sticker to the windshield. The other radios the tow company. The SUV? Registered to Janice Madison. The room explodes. You lied to us? You sent people onto private land? Wait, how much is this going to cost us if they sue? Janice's face goes pale. Her gavel hand shakes slightly. I acted in good faith to maintain community standards, she sputters. You broke federal law. I say, voice calm now. And here's the thing. Our attorney has already drafted a lawsuit. 4 counts: harassment, defamation, trespassing, and attempted land encroachment. The settlement starts at $4 million. If we go public, it doubles. Janice stands abruptly. You don't scare me. I'm not trying to scare you. I reply, I'm giving you a chance to back out before the storm hits. And just then, right on cue, the door at the back opens. In walks Mr. Ellison, county registrar, suit-pressed, documents in hand. "Sorry I'm late," he says with a nod. "I thought the HOA might want to see the original land grant files from '71. You know, before they keep enforcing laws they don't own." Janice's knees nearly buckle. One board member leans back, arms crossed. I think it's time we held a vote on her. And suddenly, Janice realizes she's not the one in control anymore. Janice doesn't come to the Friday emergency board session, but she sends a lawyer, a sleek, stone-faced man in a gray suit who introduces himself as Michael Brentwood, HOA counsel. He carries a briefcase and a practiced smirk, like he's cleaned up suburban messes before and thinks this is just another Tuesday. But what he doesn't know is that we're done playing defense. The board sits tight-lipped. Jamal and I sit across from them, and Mr. Ellison stand by the window, arms crossed like a watchful guardian. Brentwood clears his throat. "Let me be clear. My client acted within the discretionary scope allowed by HOA policy. If this matter is not resolved civilly, the HOA is prepared to pursue counter-litigation for slander and disruption of community order." I open the binder and slide over a sheet of paper. Here's the cease and desist, signed by the county, declaring the HOA acted outside their scope. You'll also find our full land survey, federal exemption clause, and signed affidavits from multiple residents. Brentwood barely blinks. Affidavits aren't facts. Ellison steps forward. "That's funny, because I have facts." He slaps down the original lake permit map. "This land's been exempt since 1971. No HOA has ever touched it." And Janice Madison knew. She was present at a board meeting in 2016 where the boundary exemption was read aloud. I let that land. Brentwood frowns. There's no proof she acted maliciously. Jamal leans forward and taps on the dashcam footage. "You see that red SUV? License plate matches Janice's. That's her voice, right there, ordering a tow. And this," he presses play again. "Make sure this gets picked up quick, before they cause more trouble." Brentwood shifts. That could have been taken out of context. I toss out a USB stick onto the table. On that drive is over 30 minutes of HOA Zoom meeting recordings, leaked anonymously by one of your own board members. I say, in it, Janice refers to my brother as a dangerous element, and suggests that enough infractions might scare them off. Someone on the board gasps audibly. "This is bad," whispers one of the older men. I pull out my phone. Also, we've already contacted a reporter at Channel 8. She's running a story on racial targeting in HOAs next week. I gave her everything. Brentwood's face finally changes. "You go public with this?" I nod. Unless Janice resigns immediately, issues a formal apology, and the HOA pays for damages and legal fees. Yes, and that's the best-case scenario. The board erupts in whispers, then silence, then a vote, unanimous. Janice is removed from her position, effective immediately. But it's not over, because the next day, the story goes viral. Black siblings harassed for fishing in their own lake. HOA faces $4 million lawsuit. Channel 8 runs the segment first. Then it's picked up by CNN's Local Spotlight. Then The Root and NBC News Now. Photos of our doc fill social media. The video of the HOA meeting racks up over 2 million views in a week. Jamal's quote, "They called the cops on me for fishing where my grandfather taught me how," becomes a rallying cry. A lawyer from the ACLU calls me, offering assistance. The DOJ emails. They want to investigate if similar cases exist in the region. Turns out, our case might help others take down corrupt HOAs abusing authority across the South. And Janice? She tries to vanish quietly. But the internet never forgets. A viral TikTok catches her yelling at a reporter on her front lawn. Her house is vandalized, not by us, but by angry neighbors who feel she brought shame to the community. She filed for bankruptcy within 6 months. As part of our settlement, the HOA pays $4.2 million. $3 million goes to us. The rest? It funds a new lake access legal defense fund, for any other family targeted by discriminatory HOA behavior. But my favorite part? They have to remove the barrier from the lake. Jamal and I sit on the dock that next morning, watching the same crew, now contracted by the county, rip it out piece by piece. Think she ever imagined this? Jamal asks, skipping a stone across the glassy water. I shake my head. She thought we were small, that a fishing rod was enough to make us criminals. He laughs. Turns out she picked the wrong fight. The sun glows low over the lake, golden and peaceful. And this time the quiet is earned. It's been 3 months since the settlement. The lake is quiet again. Not because we left, but because they finally stopped trying to push us out. Janice Madison sold her house 2 weeks after the lawsuit closed. Word is she moved to Florida under her maiden name, trying to outrun the scandal. But every time someone Googles her name, the story pops up. HOA Harris's black family faces multi-million-dollar lawsuit after calling 911 over fishing. Her legacy is sealed, forever linked to the moment her racism met its match. The new HOA president, a quiet man named David Gwynn, reaches out personally, sends a formal letter of apology, signed by every current board member. They ask if we'd like to speak at the next community meeting. They want to rebuild trust, relearn what inclusion actually means. I decline, not out of bitterness, but because I don't owe them anything. Instead, I let the lake speak for itself. We host a community barbecue 2 Saturdays later. No permits, no HOA forms, just a dozen black and brown families we've met from neighboring counties, all of them with their own HOA horror stories. Some bring kids, some bring rods, some just bring stories and a cooler full of sweet tea. Jamal cooks catfish over Dad's old smoker. The smell drifts across the water, curling around the same dock where everything started. Think they'll ever try something again? He asks between bites. I look across the lake where the old fence posts used to sit. Gone now. Nothing but water and reflection. No, I say. Not after what it cost them. He nods, then hands me a folded piece of paper. A printout. It's a photo of Dad from back in '92, standing barefoot on the dock, holding up a fish, one hand wrapped around Jamal's shoulder. We were kids. There's dirt on our cheeks and joy in our faces. I found in the attic, he says. Thought we should frame it, put it back up where it belongs. I take it gently, and suddenly I feel it, not just pride, but peace, the kind that comes from standing your ground, even when the world tells you to move. Because it wasn't just about the lake. It was about history, legacy, the right to exist without apology. And now, every time I walk down the water, I carry that knowledge with me. We are not trespassers. We are not violators. We are not what they try to paint us as. We're homeowners, heirs, protectors, and no HOA can take that away. As the sun sets behind the pines, casting a gold shimmer across the water, Jamal casts one last line. The ripple stretches out slowly, wide, sure and free,